Alright, we are on the play in match 1 of this league. It's been a while, so this is going to be interesting. I probably forgot half the intricacies of this deck within the last couple of weeks. But anyways, let's see how well we do to remember how to play Magic. This hand looks great, so we're going to keep. Turn 1 Visions, turn 2 Goyf. Maybe we'll shoal something. Slam a Mandrills at some point, cast a Mana Leak, draw something good, who knows. This hand, though, this hand looks great. I'm going to grab a Steam Vents because I want my Serum Visions to be the best it can. I don't want to shuffle away my Scry later. Don't really want the Misty, absolutely want the Stubborn Denial. And I'm also pretty happy to draw that Serum Visions, because that means we have Shoal for 1 right now. Just in case that's relevant. Is that relevant? They're going to take Tarmogoyf. Do I care? I care a little bit. Not that much, though. They take Tarmogoyf. We're going to Visions. We draw the Stubborn Denial. We could theoretically Denial, but I'm probably not going to shock with the Breeding Pool. We can Shoal pitch the Denial if they have another Thoughtseize. And then on the following turn, we slam Mandrills. The reason I don't really want to counter this Thoughtseize, Shoal, pitch Visions, is they might have a Fatal Push. And that would make me very sad if they get to just push this Tarmogoyf. On the other hand, it could very well be worth it. Shoaling the Thoughtseize is kind of the same as shoaling a Fatal Push. Certainly doesn't feel as good. This also forces them to have push and hand disruption to deal with both of our threats now. Whereas previously, if we let the Thoughtseize go through, fewer things were required. Is this a terminate? I'm confused. It's got to be terminate, right? Cobrew. Okay. Oh, discarding Lingering Souls. Alright, we're playing against... probably Mardu? I mean, you could theoretically run enough discard outlets that you don't actually need to have white in your deck to support Lingering Souls. I'm going to assume that they do have white in the deck, but still. We get in for 3, and do we slam Mandrills? I feel like we're supposed to slam Mandrills here because this is just a 3-4 and quite likely could die. I like drawing Snapcaster Mage. We don't have the third land yet though, and we're not going to get it for at least a bit. Land Sorcery. So slamming Mandrills makes this a 2-3. That's probably worth it. If they have a Bolt, it survives that because Bolt will put an instant in the bin, so I think this is fine. Head over to the opponent. Faithless Looting, yep. They're going to have to start it, I guess not interacting with the board, but impacting the board soon. We could see a Tassiger or something here. I would not be surprised. They need to get something down to slow our dudes down. Although we did... How did we end up at 13? We fetch shocked, and we shocked. And then we somehow took another 2. Cobrew. Cobrew went to the face. That's what did it. Cobrew, 2 to the face. They gain 2 life and make us discard Mana Leak. That makes sense. Marsh Flats and Sacred Foundry entering the bin off of Faithless Looting. The opponent has another land, so they're probably using that Faithless Looting to bin some lands, draw some gas. Makes sense. That's what Faithless Looting does. Outside of just enabling shenanigans like Dredge, but that's besides the point. They passed. That makes me quite happy because we have Denial and they actually know about it. I'm not expecting any flash creatures here, so I'm just gonna do that. Don't think they can mess us up in combat. We probably play this land. Is it necessary? Playing the land helps them know that we have Denial and 1 mystery card. We don't necessarily need to play the land now because the Snapcaster Mage actually isn't doing anything here, so I think The only way that not playing the land can catch up to us in a bad way is if we draw another land. Because we'll have skipped our land drop, and we'll now have an extra land in hand that we can't play. But do we need 4 lands with Snapcaster Mage and Denial in hand? Theoretically, we could go Denial, Snap, Denial. There's not a lot of value in the bluff, so if there's pretty much any value in not going with the bluff, I usually hedge towards that side of the decision. The opponent cracks their foothills, gets another basic mountain. I really don't like that they tap their lands for mana and then crack fetches. It's just bothering me. A lot of basic mountains for our opponent, not sure why. Ooh, Bedlam, Reveler. That's fun. That's a guy I'm used to. Binning Lightning Bolt and a land, because they only discarded 2 cards. And they draw 3. Pretty good. Unfortunately, they had to tap out. Shoal in hand, that's not fantastic. I should have cracked this. We're just going to swing in with the Mandrills, I think. Or, do we have a way of growing? No, we don't have a way of growing our Tarmogoyf. If we could get this to a 4/5, I would be ecstatic to swing with it. Instant, land, sorcery currently the only things in the bin. Snapcaster Mage isn't going to get there for at least a little while, so we're just going to get in for 4 here. The opponent pretty soon is going to have a bunch of Lingering Souls tokens, which I actually might just let happen, because I might want to save that Stubborn Denial for something like a Terminate. Faithless Looting flashed back, okay. Do we counter that? Countering that pretty much stops their entire turn. Unless they have a black source in hand, then they can flash back the souls, or if they have a black source, they could cast a number of spells to deal with our creatures. I think I want to stop the looting. Having the Snapcaster Mage in hand makes me a little bit happier to get rid of the Stubborn Denial here temporarily, because we probably will have it back. If they had a Terminate, I would have been sad, but that at least would put a creature in the bin, which means Goyf gets bigger, and if it was Terminate specifically, we very well may have Shoal Pitch snapped. We're going to fetch here, so I don't forget again. Another Steam Vent? Not really much downside. Could I possibly need double green? I don't think so. Especially not with Traverse out of the deck. We are playing the Chart and Shoal version of Delver currently. Thought Scour. Aren't you a sight for sore eyes? We are definitely doing that now. I want to see that Goyf grow. I almost called it a Groyf, which would have been kind of funny. Milda Mandrills, we're cooking with gas. Oh yeah. If they have a Bolt, they can grow Bedlam Reveler, which is bad for us. We actually might not want to attack. Oh, that makes me mad. Okay. If we attack with Mandrills and they have a Bolt, they can Bolt face, and then their 4/5 Reveler eats Mandrills. If we attack with just Tarmogoyf, they can Bolt the Goyf and have their Reveler eat it. And if we attack with both, they get to take out 1, but then they go down to 2, so I'm going to attack. I think it's worth it. They might be able to deal with one of our threats, but at least that puts them down to 2 life. Looks like they're taking out the Mandrills here. Well, they're at 2, which means an attack from them would be pretty telling that they think they have this. Here's an Inquisition. That actually doesn't bother me because I have 2 Snapcaster Mages. The Disrupting Shoal is doing a lot of nothing. I plan on casting one of those 2 Snapcaster Mages either to block or to have an extra threat to threaten lethal. And since we can only cast one, there's really no point in doing anything until after the Inquisition. Another spell for them, Lingering Souls cast with Flashback. That's a pain. That's going to resolve as well. That's going to slow down our Tarmogoyf quite a bit. Makes me almost want to keep the Snapcaster Mage in hand. Almost. Not enough, because we would have to mill... Thought Scour, sure, it doesn't matter. We would have to mill a Lightning Bolt or Tarfire for Snapcaster Mage to be relevant, really. Ooh, Bauble could be good. Cast that. Crack it immediately, because I want to draw... Oh, jeez. Okay, well that's gonna smart. It looks like the opponent is running straight black-red, only using discard to fuel their Lingering Souls. So that's good. We're going to make them use the Souls tokens, because if we just have a standoff here of Goyf and Reveler looking at each other funny, eventually the Souls tokens are going to take us out. Draw Lightning Bolt. There you go. Do we wait? I don't think they have a reason to make me want to wait. Don't think they have any counters, so we don't really need to wait for them to do something and mess up. So, black-red Reveler with Lingering Souls. Definitely not something I have a plan against. I know there are Mardu decks running around every now and then, though I don't think I've ever actually played against one, especially not recorded. It looks like that's the deck. Okay. Mardu Pyromancer. We don't actually know that they're playing this, but I mean, it's very similar, and I'm willing to bet that if this is supposedly 3.79% of the metagame, there's a pretty good chance that the deck we just ran against is at least somewhat similar to this. And it looks like we have Bedlam Revelers, Young Pyromancers, some Monastery Swiftspears, and a bunch of removal. So, we are up for a mid-range grind fest. How are we going to deal with that? Step 1's going to be Huntmaster. Blood Moon seems really bad against them. They had, what, 3 basic mountains and a basic swamp? Dismember sounds excellent. Flash Freeze. Rejection seems bad. Pyroclasm could deal with Lingering Souls. Don't know if I want to go that route. Mountain seems pretty good because we're going to want to raise our curve. I even might want Knuckleblade. I doubt they have that many answers for it besides Terminate. Dreadbore, maybe? That's probably good. It's going to be resistant to Fatal Push and Lightning Bolt, so that will be nice. I was expecting Path to Exile after we saw Lingering Souls, but it looks like with the opponent cracking a bunch of fetches and not finding a white source, I'm going to say they don't have a white source. So I probably want those 6 and maybe these 2. What are we going to do here? Simic Charm's not bad. Perilous Voyage seems awful. Chart, of course, I like. We could drop the Scours. If we're expecting Young Pyromancer and Monastery Swiftspear, I'm going to want Bolt Effects. Vapor Snag seems bad. Don't really want to bounce Bedlam Reveler, unless maybe they have 7 cards in hand. That could be something. What else are we cutting here? I could see cutting the Shoals. Yeah, we cut most of our blue cards. Shoal's gonna go. And that looks like that's it. Do I really want Pyroclasm and Explosives? Pyroclasm actually covers PZ and Souls. That looks like a good idea. We're gonna run it on the draw here for game 2 probably. But we're up 1 game, so that's exciting. Want to know what isn't exciting? This hand. It's bad. They have PZ and... Well, okay. They probably have PZ and Swiftspear, but I don't want this. We're not playing against an aggro deck. That's a lot better. Certainly not great, but it is a lot better. I like having the red source I'm waiting for, so that's probably worth keeping. This hand also is fairly redundant, which makes me happy, given that we're going up against discard. That's probably taking Serum Visions, but I could see it nabbing Chart. Serum Visions is going to go. And am I willing to let them know I drew a Misty Rainforest? I do probably want to crack it right away, so we probably will be letting them know what we drew. I don't like giving the opponent perfect information, but on the other hand, don't really like the alternative. The alternative, of course, being making bad sequencing choices for the sake of not letting them know I drew a Misty Rainforest. There's the Pyromancer. And if we could top deck one of those Bolts or Tarfire that we mulliganed away, that would be neat. I'm also not going to complain about Serum Visions. We are going to play out the island before casting that. I do want to have this Steam Vents available, especially if we draw the aforementioned removal spell. Misty Rainforest is not the removal spell, neither is Simic Charm or the other island. Let's pass to the opponent. Now they don't have perfect information, that's something. They do have an active young Pyromancer, so that's also something in the other direction. Okay. They're going big. They are going very, very big. That seems quite risky to me. But on the other hand, maybe they're just trying to clock us. Tarmogoyf. So which fatty do we slam here? I probably want to just start off with Goyf. Then again, Pyromancer is going to give Goyf a very hard time, so I actually want to slam Mandrills here. We could go with Misty, Fetch. We're going to take some damage that way. Don't know how excited I am for that. Paying Shock. If we go with the Misty and pay Shock, we get to keep this Visions in our graveyard. That's not that necessary, though. On the other hand, we have Mandrills number 2 to think about, but we could always fetch afterwards. We don't need to worry about our graveyard specifically, because this Tarmogoyf is eyeing the Inquisition in the opponent's graveyard quite intently. There's the Terminate. And Pyroclasm off the top. I would welcome it. Stubborn Denial. Well, you know what? We have a 4/5 Goyf. How good is that? We're definitely on the back foot here. And probably will be until we find a sweeper. Or at least something to deal with one of these Pyromancers. I'm going to start off with Goyf. We're probably going to use the Denial to protect it. If they have something like another Terminate, a Fatal Push, a Dreadbore, a... What other removal spells do people typically use against Tarmogoyfs? Do we counter that? They're probably going to take the Denial anyways. So we could... No, they know about the Chart and the Mandrills. We don't counter that. Other removal spells for Goyf. Go for the Throat? I'd be extremely surprised if they were playing it, but maybe. Probably just going to see a bunch of Elementals attack here. Oh, no attacks. That's odd. Why aren't they attacking? I would have thought they'd be going right at it. Do I want to take out a Pyromancer with that Dismember? Probably not. I'm also considering attacking here just so that we can chart, of course, more easily. Probably should have fetched on the end step there. I think we're going to grab a basic island. That puts another card in the graveyard. We're going to use Chart, of course. We might end up slamming a Mandrills. We actually almost certainly will slam a Mandrills since we're going to be attacking with this Tarmogoyf to help enable the Chart, of course. Now, they need to give up a young Pyromancer in order to take out our Tarmogoyf. Unless they have a Bolt effect. That's possible. But then they lose a bunch of tokens, which is going to slow them down considerably. So I still think we're going to attack here. It also gives us some card advantage, given that Chart, of course, will force us to discard if we don't. 1 token probably, yeah, they're just chumping. That's fine. We're going to do this before Mandrills, because I want to see what we draw. Tarfire. Get there. 1 Pyromancer. Doesn't really matter which. Here's a Bolt, probably going at our face. They just wanted more tokens, and now we're definitely slamming this Mandrills, although delving the Tarfire does definitely make me sad, because Goyf is no longer a 5/6, and, well, it's not a secret that I enjoy having 5/6s. I also like having Mandrills around. Here's a Thoughtseize. That, well, besides the fact that they're getting tokens, doesn't bother me. I'd be much more concerned by any removal spell. Dismember, definitely not a threat to them. Let's block a token. If they had a Lightning Bolt, no, they could still use it whenever they want. Doesn't have to be pre-combat. Bobble will help Tarmogoyf, and now we're in a really bad spot. So if we attack here, we're super dead. If we don't attack, we're probably dead. What I need is a Pyroclasm. And in hindsight, I don't think we boarded in... Where's View Sideboard? We didn't board in Kozilek's Return. We should have boarded this in so we could instant speed sweep. Then again, we didn't know they were running Young Pyromancer, but I mean, it was probably there. I'm going to crack this immediately because, well, there is the chance that we draw a Pyroclasm and then they make us discard it, which would make me extremely sad. Should I have not done that? What instant makes that better? Oh, hey, Delver. Haven't seen him this match yet. I forgot we even had Delver. Now I think we're dead. No, we still block the Pyromancer. That happens. No, we are dead. They have 5 tokens. 5 attacking tokens. Well, we're going to take that out and then keel over. They had Xaxes. Let's board in the Kozilek's Return. What are we going to board out? Maybe a Mandrills. Maybe a Goyf? Am I crazy enough to board out Goyf? I don't think I've ever boarded out a single Tarmogoyf. But it's not great against all the tokens. I mean, it's a fantastic clock, but it dies to most of their removal. Besides Bolt and Bolt effects that they might be running, some lists play Forked Bolt. Not going to infer much into that, especially because it only really affects Delver, but besides Bolt, all of their removal kills Tarmogoyf, so it's not... Okay, Collective Brutality. Kolagon's Command, yeah, Goyf's probably worth keeping. Okay, so then board out a Mandrills, but it's worse against the tokens. But with them having a bunch of Bolt effects, it's not that much worse than the token against tokens, because the token chumps, and then they Bolt, and then Mandrills bites the dust anyways. Maybe Dismember goes back out? We ignore Bedlam Revelers? Is that a good idea? Do we care much about Bedlam Revelers? Maybe we should focus more on taking out Reveler with things like Mana Leak and Flash Freeze? I can buy that. We will be on the play again. Do I like this hand? We have Bolt. We're not charting a course anytime soon, but we have Bolt. Couple lands, we can Flash Freeze something. Not the worst. Certainly not the best. I wonder if this is a mulligan. I really like this hand against an aggro deck, that's for sure. The opponent mulled, and in game 2 they definitely looked like an aggro deck. Pyromancer into token, 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 token. It was kind of scary. We will get to Bolt the first threat, though, so that's nice. Flash Freeze, if they try to slam another threat. We might actually be able to take the long game here in that case, given that we have Huntmaster. Let's grab ourselves a Steam Vents tapped. I wonder if they're playing Blood Moon. Oh hey, Sacred Foundry, they're splashing white. They do have a white source. Bauble is something I would love to use right now. Do I actually want to use it right now? Maybe we wait until their turn, but that means we might have to fetch and shock. But if we use the Bauble now, discard becomes better. But our hand is already pretty much chock full of juicy discard targets. Let's see if we want to crack that fetch. Tar Fire. That's an interesting one. Do we want Tar Fire? I don't know. I don't know. We already have Lightning Bolt. They didn't play a Swift Spear yet. We know they have Pyromancers. If they have multiple Pyromancers, I would love to have Tar Fire. On the other hand, if they have 1 or 0, Tar Fire gets a lot worse. I'll take it. Mishra's Bauble did at least some work to speed along this Mandrills. So I think we're in a good enough shape to get a Mandrills out and start doing some real work if we get to that point in the game. So I think Tar Fire is fine, given that it helps us to get to that point in the game where we slam Mandrills, we start clocking, we slam Huntmaster, and we just start taking over the game entirely. Delver or Mandrills? I'm going to say Delver, because it lets us hold up Lightning Bolt. The opponent's thinking, this is exciting. Oh, it's been too long. Fatal Push, that's fantastic. Anytime an opponent pushes a Delver, you're just happy. Faithless Looting, I'm less ecstatic about that. Oh, that's the promo Fatal Push. I have one of those. I think I have 2 of those. I don't remember. I don't play black, so I don't actually know. They discarded Fatal Push. Okay. We're not going to Bolt Face. Island, fantastic. We're going to delve away the entire graveyard. Because that means we get to hold up Flash Freeze. And I'm excited to hold up Flash Freeze. Counter a Terminate, that sounds fun. Counter a Bedlam Reveler, not bad. Counter Juicy Red Spells, not PZ because we're just going to bolt that. We're not going to counter Swift Spear. Faithless Looting, maybe? They might take our Flash Freeze. 1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4. 3 plus the Inquisition. Only 4 instants and sorceries in the bin for them currently after this Inquisition resolve, so we're not going to see a Reveler just yet. Flash Freeze goes. That makes sense. That makes me kind of sad, but there was nothing we could do about it, so what are you going to do? Untap. Nux. I think we're just in the slam threat after threat mode. We'll see if they have another Dreadbore. Maybe a fetch plus another push. They already binned 2 pushes, so it's not super likely that that's happening. Ah, they have another answer. Lame. They also know the entirety of our hand, which is even more lame. On the other hand, they have exactly 1 card, so that's less lame. Lame for them. Reveler will probably be changing that sometime soon. We're going to slam Mandrills, delve the bin again. I must say, we're drawing pretty well. How many running threats did we just hit? I have to say quite a few, right? We drew Delver. What do we have here? We don't need that revealed. Can we just get rid of Tarfire, please? That's pretty annoying. We just drew Knuckleblade. Well, no, we just drew the Mandrills. Then was the Knuckleblade. Before that, we had the other Mandrills, I believe, already in hand. We drew the Delver. So we've seen something like 5 threats. Maybe 6. Bauble is excellent. The opponent's tapped out, so Mandrills is definitely getting in. And I'm pretty sure we're going to chart a course here. The only reason I would not chart a course is if I use the bauble right now and hope to draw a counterspell. Turned out, really didn't matter. Excuse me, we also hit the land for Huntmaster. We have Mana Leak up. Mana Leak, to be fair, is a lot worse now that they have 5 lands. Let's see what we're going to draw. Hooting Mandrills, yeah. Love it. Can't argue with that logic. I'm not going to scry that away with a fetch land. Inquisition. That's going to take Mana Leak or Bolt. We could just Bolt them. They're probably taking Lightning Bolt anyways. Mana Leak's not doing much here. It's also going to put an extra card in the bin. Make Mandrills a little easier on us. I don't see them attacking here. Unless they have a bunch more stuff. Lingering Souls, that's kind of a bunch more stuff. You getting in? Alright. Looks like they don't want to threaten Mandrills. That's fine. Mandrills has Trample. Alright, what land do we want? Probably Stomping Ground. Second green, second red, yeah. Just in case. What do we got? Denial. Alright, well, we attack with Mandrills. Do we play out another Mandrills, or do we play Huntmaster? Playing Huntmaster, it has Trample. Oh, they might have Bolt, but we have Denial. Oh, yeah. Come on. Bolt. Bolt. You can do it. Now we're definitely just playing Mandrills. That was a bit of a telltale block. Well, assuming that they're aware that Mandrills has Trample, the only reason they should make that kind of block is if 7 is a much worse, much better life total for them to be at than 6. To be fair, 2 Lightning Bolts, so that could be a factor. But on the other hand, they're probably looking to deal exactly 1 damage to this with their creatures, and then finish it off. So we're going to slam a lightning bolt. We're going to slam a Hooting Mandrills here. Probably with just about all the mana we can spare. Chart can go. 1 more card's going to have to be delved. Mana Leak can go since Denial will soon take its place in the graveyard as Snapcaster stuff. Bolt's going to get countered. Didn't even need Ferocious. And now we have 2 4/4s. Let's see if they have something to answer the Huntmaster that comes shortly. They have a couple souls to flashback. That'll help them. Huntmaster, though, is going to help us. Flying definitely helps them more. Blood Moon. That's fine. Oh, that means we can't cast Huntmaster. That makes me so sad. I even looked at Blood Moon in the sideboard of most of these decks. Alright, what do we got? Wooded Foothills. Well, that's not going to get a forest at this point, so we swing with both Mandrills. They block with both Spirits. They go to exactly 1. 8 minus 2 is 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. They're at 1 life. They have a 1/1 and a 3/4. Do they have no Faithless Looting in the graveyard? So they can't trigger Reveler without losing cards. They draw 1 card. If it's not a burn spell or a collective brutality, it's not enough because this is a 3/4. I don't really get salty, but your draws were a little annoying. Actually, I have to say. Alright, so we're going to get in with both. Put the opponent down to 1. Yep. And if they don't have the burn spell, we win. Lingering Souls. Oh, I forgot about Lingering Souls in the graveyard. They might have it. They might have it. If they have another instant or sorcery, we're dead. They didn't have it. Oh, sweet. GG's, opponent. Woo! Awesome. Alright. I can't really complain about them complaining about our draws since I even mentioned it myself. The denial is a little weird to comment on because we drew exactly one, I think. Yeah, we drew exactly one denial. Maybe they didn't like that we had Flash Freeze, Mana Leak, and a denial. I don't know. Maybe they didn't like us just finding a counterspell off the top. Doesn't really matter. That was some fun. Let's try to do this more often because I haven't played much Magic recently. But I'll probably be getting to more Magic this week. So school's back. That means more Magic time, which means I'm probably going to be doing this more. Alright, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. I certainly did. Although, I enjoyed making the video. You guys can't really do that, but hopefully you enjoyed watching the video at least. And I hope to see you in the next one.